Today we're talking Dark Winds Season 4, Episode 4. Welcome to Screens in Focus. I'm Diana. Renee is here. Hi, Renee. How are you?
Hello, I am well. How about you?
I am good. This episode, we had been anticipating their arrival in Los Angeles, but with that also brings the music. And there was some great 70s music in this episode. So, our question of the day is if you could add one more 70s song into Dark Winds, what would it be? All right. So, we're going to think about it. Friends out there, you think about it, and then we'll answer it later on in the episode. And also, don't forget to stick around for our TV and movie recommendations. All right, so let's get to this. We are definitely not in Kansas anymore. We're in Los Angeles. We've got the Hollywood sign. We've got the Doors playing. And of course, Irene commits another murder to start us off. So what was your first reaction with this episode in Los Angeles?
I just love how they just keep things so authentic. I just love that. You feel, from the clothing to the music to the scenery. And it's just like this series just really, makes you kind of feel like you just step right back into time, back in time. And so I thought they did such a great job. And I thought, like this episode, the pacing was a lot different this episode, I believe. I just felt I liked it. It seemed to go too fast, but they always do.
Yeah.
But I thought they did such a great job with so many different things that I'm sure we'll talk about some of the key, things that happened during that kind of quintessential 70s things, but yes, I thought it was awesome.
I loved it too. As soon as Irene was making her way into the home of the person that she was about to murder, the door was different. So I thought, okay, she's somewhere else. And then of course we see her move on and do what she did. And then as it pans out, the Hollywood sign is there. And then so many other scenes when Joe and Byrne are walking down the street and just the signs behind them, the hotel that they're at. I noticed the Griffith Observatory, just the landscape of it all. It was just, I just felt immersed with the music and the fashion and just architecture and just the mountains, the scenery, everything. So I just thought it was so great. And you're right, the pacing was so different, which I really appreciated because we're not like stuck in the same thing where we see the same things repeated. It is definitely different. And it went by so fast. My husband is like, what? It's over? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's over. That went by really, really fast.
It did.
But one of the highlights to me was seeing Chee in this undercover mode. And we see the heightened symptoms of his ghost sickness. So what do you think about this whole storyline with Chee?
Well, I think he's holding on to a lot of hurt and anger where, because of Joe and Byrne, but then add to it this ghost sickness that continues to progress and not in a good way. It just keeps getting worse for him. And then he's got his memories of LA with his mom and his, childhood and things like that. So he's just got so much going on. And then when I realized he was going undercover, I was like, okay, wait, I don't know if this is the right thing, because we can really tell he's not in his self right now. He, there was that one look when he looked at the camera and he looked like evil almost. I was like, this is not him. Something is definitely affecting every part of him. So I love the storyline. Like you said, I love it, but man, it just scares me because I don't know what's going to happen.
It scares us for him because we know, well, we feel like we know him. And he's a good person. He's a kind person. And you're right. That look, I thought, are you channeling? Because you had talked about how the ghost sickness had taken maybe the parts of Albert or whatever it might be. And I'm thinking, I don't know, were those Albert's pupils looking out at us? I don't know. I mean, Albert was a good guy. I mean, but I'm sure he did some wrong things in his life, unfortunately. I feel like more will be revealed as we go along. So you know, I don't know exactly how any of that works, but yeah, I was scared with him. And just like how everything is increasing, how the blood is increasing, the wounds are increasing, his agitation is increasing. So, and he's undercover as this Mike Garcia guy. So that was a highlight for me. Was there other highlights that you wanted to talk
Just
about?
Irene, and I'm just so intrigued by her because we learned a lot of really cool stuff about her. I mean, not necessarily cool, but just interesting facts about her just in these couple scenes. And mostly we've seen this aggressive assassin, but it was really that tender moment with her and her dad. It was just like, she's this assassin and all this stuff, and her dad's got dementia or whatever's going on, and then she's just okay, yeah, when the war is over, just and caring for him. So it was just a completely different side to her that we hadn't seen yet. So I just yeah, but then of course, yeah, questions around her is who was the man she killed, and who is what McNair is that
Yeah. Yeah.
Titus Welliver, is he McNair? I don't know. So there's more questions about coming where she's concerned, but it was a very interesting going through her bunker with her wife, seeing all that,
Yes.
and seeing that her dad was there.
Yeah. And that he has issues, and
Yeah,
he was in a
I think he's still in the
uniform.
war. Yeah, I mean, I think his mind is stuck in the war because he pulls that gun on her, and he was talking about stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like even just with that gives a lot of insight into her background and her growing up, and the fact that they are in a bunker. But of course, then she probably has to keep him there because being a war criminal,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, right? Because
Yeah,
this is the 70s
yeah.
that this is happening. So it's all very, very intriguing as we get to know more about her. But also, she has Joe's picture with her. And she's like looking at it. She's folded over Emma. I'm surprised she didn't rip it out and stab
Yeah.
it in the eyes already. And also, when she goes to talk to McNair, who we think is
Mhm.
McNair, she wants to be sure she's paid. Like, I
Mhm.
need to get paid for what I did. And I think probably because she's taking care of her father, I'm
Yeah.
sure that's motivation as to her wanting to have the funds because she did what she needed to
Mhm.
do. But she's just still so um, like methodical and just not empathy for other
Yeah.
people except for maybe her father. And she sprays on the wall. Was it "The Truth Dies with Me"?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. She's scary though. Is okay,
Mhm.
so we keep opening with deaths and her each episode. So I don't know how far we're going to go with this.
Yeah, like okay. What's gonna be her tally at the end there,
I know. I know how many and who is it going
Yeah.
to affect? Like how many people are we going to go through?
Mhm.
And Joe being attacked at the end, and
Yeah.
who are these people?
Yeah. Because they were like had sniper rifle at the club thing that she
Yeah.
was in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I was scared for him, but then we see the preview, so I'm not
Mhm.
totally scared, but
Yeah.
still, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know what he's getting into at this point. And then, of course, Emma and Joe have a meeting. That was good to see Emma, even though you're not giving us quite what we want, but at least it's
Mhm. Yeah.
in the direction that we want.
Yes.
What would you think about Emma and Joe?
Yeah. I was so glad about that because yeah, we just needed to see that, and I just felt like seeing them together, it was something I needed. I just was like, okay, gotta see them together. But I think it was it kind of gave me some hope the way he held her hands to him and she didn't pull
Yeah.
away, and just all of those things. So I just think that it was just a real hopeful scene. And then when the waitress, I loved it when the waitress was standing there, she's leaving and he's just watching, and the waitress is like, so do you know what you want? And he doesn't say a word, but we can all see in his eyes, yes, he knows what he wants. He
Yeah.
wants Emma.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he wants. So I
Yeah.
love that. I thought that was a really fun way to end that little segment.
Yeah. That was such a good segment. I even liked previous to that when he calls her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, look, I don't want to blindside you. I want you to know that I'm here. And I loved it. I thought it was so thoughtful of him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, maybe he wants to meet with her. And then as soon as she says, well, do you want to meet me here? And he says, I wouldn't miss it for the world. So I love the conversation that they had. And then
Yeah.
their meeting, it was just such, it was quiet. It was different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen them just be a little more loving to each other, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when they meet, it's like, are they going to hug? Are they going to kiss? Are they just going to be? Because we don't know the conversations that they've had on the phone
Mm-hmm.
since the last time that we saw her when she was
Mm-hmm.
driving away in that vehicle. So we don't know. So we
Mm-hmm.
just have to go off of what we're seeing here as to how they communicate and how much is she still mad at him? Is she not mad at him? Because she says she wants him to be happy and good. And he says, look, I'm retiring and I'm, seeing the elders and I'm doing everything I need to do. And she says, I'm glad that you're doing that. But I think he's trying to say, look, I'm doing all the things that you wanted me to do. But without her, she's just not, I mean, she's only giving him so much. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
she's just like,
Yeah.
well, I'm busy. I gotta work. I gotta do what I need to do. So, well, he says, look, I have something for you, or gives her the tomato
Yeah.
plants. And she says, oh, you built the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And then she notices his hands, which in a way shows she cares, and also that it's a reminder of their life together, of what
Mm-hmm.
it was. So yeah, just that connection. I
Mm-hmm.
know. I know it's going to take time, but I can't wait to see this unfold
Yeah.
even more so. Yeah. What else did you think about any of the relationships that we saw here?
Irene and her obsession with Joe, because that seemed like an obsessed teenager hanging that picture, and so I mean, it was just so very different from, again, this assassin that we know her as. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not, it's uncharacteristic for what we think of that type of person. So it's yeah, it's still very confusing to me because she doesn't know that much about him.
I know.
It's just, yeah, it's just very odd. And why, I'm curious to know why, like, she's so obsessed with him when she's not spent time with him. She's only like, she talked to him one time. And so, like, she, yeah, so I'm just curious, or has she been watching longer than we knew or something, or I don't know. But I just think it's very strange.
I guess you just get an attachment. Maybe she has been, I don't know, admiring him from afar. And then they
Yeah.
did have that one run in. Yeah, like what made her, maybe it's just something about him. Like we had talked about how he had, built the things that he had, the sweat lodge, and she just thought so much of that. And I think in a way, she's like a young girl when it comes to love. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe she hasn't experienced, I mean, it could be so many things. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know where her mind is, but we know it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so which again makes it very dangerous for Joe. I did want to bring up, because we had talked about the kiss last episode. We had talked about it, how it wasn't scripted, and she had just kissed him while they were rehearsing or filming. I don't know exactly, but did you happen to see that clip of them? Did you see any clips regarding
Uh-uh.
this? It was interesting because they're both watching the scene of the kiss, and she says something to him like, I lean in, or I just kind of laid it on you. I don't know how she said it, but she goes, oh, are you going to, almost like she hadn't seen it, right? She's like, oh, are you going to like lean in? And then he says, I was in the editing room and I kissed you back, because that's what you do when somebody kisses you. He says, we had to edit it out because Joe can't, basically, these are me adding in my own words a little bit, but basically Joe can't be kissing you. So we had to edit me kissing you back. So I just thought it was so interesting hearing them talk about that
Mm-hmm.
episode. So everyone should go check it out, because it's very playful, those two
Yeah.
talking about it. It was cute. I liked
Yeah, I
seeing
will.
that. But Byrne and Chi, man, he is giving her the cold shoulder. And even she's like, geez, okay. But then she goes and talks to him at the hotel room. and says, basically like, what's happening here? And she's all, wait, you're still hung up on that? I think she thought maybe they'd gotten past it because they've gone
Yeah.
all the way to
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles, of course, in two separate cars.
Yeah.
So Byrne must have rode with Joe. But what was interesting, I'm going to back up. We'll get to that moment of them in the car in just a second. But what I wanted to ask you was when they are going to the Indian Center and they're walking down the street and they're having a conversation. And is he telling her, like, look, you didn't handle this thing with Chi very well because it's kind of messy? He says something, and I'm like, wait, is he referring to Byrne and Chi in the relationship? Because she's all, if you're going to let me run things, then you need to let me handle things the way that I need to handle them. And then they go in.
I kind of remember something, but I guess, yeah, I like something about like you do relationships or something like that. I'll have to go back and watch it. I'm not a good input on that because I don't remember.
Well, and also we don't know. We're not privy to whatever happened during the car ride.
Yeah.
I mean, Byrne must have said, hey, I told him what was happening. Now he's pissed off at us. Or I guess Joe's not mad at Byrne for spilling the beans because he doesn't appear to be upset about it. He's just going along as it is. I don't know. But I do want to talk about their scene together in the room because she's basically saying, like, this is what I thought was going to be the problem, is that you're going to have these issues with, me taking over. And then she says, it's almost like you think I can't do this. Like, you don't think that I'm worthy of this. And he says, you left, Byrne. And I feel like that had multiple meanings at that moment, right? Because you left. So why do you get to leave and come back and head up?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Head this up. Yeah. But it could also be you left. You left me. You left us. You left knowing how much I cared about you. So I feel like it was more than just you left. I think he's using you left and maybe you shouldn't come back and be in charge. But I think emotionally, it's more than that. I think it's much deeper because everything always is, right? You use what's easiest to act like you're mad about, but there's layers to always something like that. It's like you abandoned me, right? And I trusted you. And now where are we? Plus, he's got that damn ghost sickness too.
That is just turning into a whole horror story on its own.
It's funny. The scene went so fast. The pacing was so good. But then at the same time, this one is just so much more, I don't know, action oriented.
Yeah, concise. It was just like, okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening.
Yeah.
What? It's over? Like your husband. I did the exact same here with your husband. I was like, wait, did I fast forward? I was sure I did something because I was like, that can't be over.
I know. Well, I watched this back to back twice. And yes, the pacing, it was really, really fast. Okay, so let's talk about Chi though, because he is having these crazy experiences. I mean, he is drinking, he is taking pills that Sonny is giving him. And this ghost sickness is getting worse. And also we find out that it's not real, it's psychological. So what did you think about all of that?
Well, again, I really am enjoying this like story because I can't wait, to see where it goes, And I think I mentioned last week, I think it'll get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
But something significant's going to happen. But I also feel, it's interesting watching this process and see what's happening. But I feel like him not sharing it with Byrne, someone he knows is she believes in this stuff. She knows how to do different things, the different ritual or what, I don't know if they're called rituals, whatever, her prayers and different things that she does. He knows, she knows about all these spiritual things and could help him.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're just being a brat again. Yes. And not letting her help you because and I know we need the storyline and all that, but I just, like share it with her because she's the one person who understands these things And he's admitted he just he doesn't buy into it or whatever,
Yeah.
and he'd been gone for so long. So it's understandable. He didn't grow, like, I'm sure he grew up at some point, but like when they moved to things, his mom probably didn't do all these things and keep him knowledgeable about it and stuff. So, you can understand why he's like, nah, this is a thing or whatever. But anyway, I feel and I feel like him not telling her and not getting her help, that could jeopardize the investigation, because you're already experiencing all these weird things, and now you're going to put pills and booze and whatever else to that. You are not be in any kind of position to be going undercover with this situation.
Yeah. Well, when he was high on
Mhm.
everything, I thought that Sonny had laced something in the pills that he gave
Oh.
him, because I'm like, so when I watched it the second time, I tried to pay closer attention to what was happening, but Sonny put like pills on the table and took two and drank. And then Chi does it. So I'm like, okay, he didn't just give him pills, he
Mm-hmm.
put them on the table. So that would have taken a lot of finagling to say, okay, these two and those two. So it made
Yeah.
me think that it wasn't that he laced
Mm-hmm.
anything with them. I mean, yes, it could come out next episode that he
Yeah.
did, but it didn't appear that way. So I'm like, why is this guy okay and Chi is not? Of course, Chi could have been drinking a whole heck of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then something you said earlier about the flashbacks about when he was a kid at the Indian
Mm-hmm.
Center, that's weighing on him too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's just trying to flush a lot of things out.
Mm-hmm.
And then also his nosebleeds
Mm-hmm.
and that wound on his body and the blister, it almost looks like that's in his side. Now, here's my little theory. I'm like, why does he have that? Why is it bubbling up? And then I thought, what if it's a gunshot wound? And what if it's Albert's gunshot wound? Because you had talked about how it could have been from the person in the death hogan when
Mm-hmm.
that happened. I thought, oh, what if it's that? Because why does he have something, unless again it comes out to be something else that we don't know yet that will be revealed later. But I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's weird that he has that
And it's
bubbling
moving.
something. Yeah.
That's
Whatever
the
that
weird part. Like,
is.
why is it moving? Yeah, but I think you were talking about the drugs and that being, thinking it was laces, but we saw him do some other, his hallucinations are getting stronger. So I
Yeah.
just felt that it was just a really bad, I mean, like I didn't at first. I was like, oh wait, is this right? Because you don't know till it's over that
Yeah.
is this really happening.
Yeah.
So his nosebleeds, though, those are really happening. Because I mean, I'm asking because Sonny saw that and handed him
Yeah. I
a
think I would, I, I don't know. Who
because I mean,
knows?
Sonny handed
You're
him the
right.
like
You're right.
handkerchief.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because initially I kept thinking, okay, maybe those aren't really either. But then when he handed it out, I thought, okay, well, he's
Yes.
obviously seeing
Yeah.
something. So again, not that I know anything of what that means. I'm just clarifying for myself because
Yes.
that gave me the impression. Okay, so the nosebleeds are real, but all this other stuff. But it is getting way worse than like some other little incidents that we saw.
Yeah.
Whatever the other things that had happened, where we just go, oh, that wasn't that actually didn't happen, and so.
They also showed though when he was in the bathroom
Mhm.
and he was throwing up all over the place. Um, when Byrne comes in to get him, they show the sink and it doesn't look all messed up.
Right, that's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so
So
I
we
was like,
could tell like that part wasn't right.
mhm.
Also, when she had come to see him at the hotel room, she would have asked him, "Why is there blood on your white shirt?" Because
Yeah.
he had just had his white shirt. She would have noticed blood on
Mhm.
him. So it makes me think like the blood, at least on his body, is not real, even
Mhm.
though the blood on his nose could be real.
Right, because it's kind of
Um,
an indication that his hallucinations are coming on. It kind of seems like
yeah.
that happens, and then it seems like soon after that something like that happens. Like I guess except when he met Sonny, I don't think he saw anything then. Maybe, but I guess he did. He was flashbacking to his mom, wasn't he, before he went outside? So yeah, it's
Yes.
like that nosebleed
Yes.
happens, and then these hallucinations or whatever he's experiencing is starts.
Right.
And then right when you said that, I thought of something else. Oh, I thought of also in the bathroom. Then I wondered if he was really throwing up, because we didn't see in the stall then afterwards. So I wonder if the pills and booze combination did make him start to vomit and things. But again, then that perpetuated his hallucination to be very, very severe.
Yeah.
I don't know, because we didn't see like in the stall where he had been throwing up. But yeah, it's a lot of mystery behind all this, and I'm very anxious to find out what it's all about. Because at one point I also thought, are the wounds real? Like, I mean, we know the one is, because I think everybody knew that one happened, but like this new one, is it real? Is he hallucinating it? Because the blood, and stuff.
Chee, what are you doing? What's happening to you? Man, yeah. And okay, so I do want to talk about Sonny for a second. It's like, I mean, it looks like maybe he's stealing cars. He wants to use Mike Garcia to help him steal cars, but then he's connected to McNair, probably, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, because that girl does tell Billy, basically. She actually spills a lot, which helps Billy, right?
Yeah, right.
Because it's basically, you don't want to be here, and you don't want that lady in the green van to come, because if she knows about you or knows something's up, then you need to get the heck out of here, because she's not going to let up. That girl had a lot of information to share with her there. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Sonny or any
yeah,
of that?
I'm wondering where he fits in. I mean, obviously he has a connection to Leroy, and which connects to Irene, who's connected to McNair. So they get all somewhere fits together. Yeah. So yeah, probably Sonny's. Maybe he's the underling that's doing things for McNair, and somehow some of the I don't know what McNair is in jail for or whatever. Right. But obviously that was the other thing. The ring that he wore was like Albert's ring. Yeah. And so what's so then obviously, or at least those two were involved with something where they've got these rings that are, whether it's a gang or whatever it is, So yeah, it's just, I don't know what his connection is, but yeah, like you feel like those Polaroids were obviously significant. And what do the cars have to do with it? Or are they just
a side
thing? And then, Albert has gotten mixed up with McNair some other way. So yeah, it's hard to know there, because Sonny seems pretty connected and pretty sneaky, and I could see him doing like all kinds of things.
So also McNair talks about his trials coming up. He doesn't want any hiccups, basically, when that comes in. Of course, he's probably hired her to get rid of people that could say the wrong thing or turn on him. But what is it that he's done? But again, we had talked about, I think in maybe the first episode, that it's got to be significant, because you're paying her this money to get rid of people. And I can't imagine she's doing it for that cheap.
Right.
So what is it that you are doing that, that you have that much pull and that much power to do this, and that much money to do it? So it's got to be more than just cars.
Yeah. And then you have this rich guy that got killed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And it said the truth dies with me. So it's like he was some kind of witness or something, and now he's dead, and whatever truth that she was, talking about, supposedly dies with him. But is this stuff that Albert knows? Does he know something that involves all this, Yeah.
He could have been like an accountant or something.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, he didn't look like he was a rough guy.
No, right? Not at all. Yeah. I think he had like booze bottles in his bag or whatever, like that.
Yeah, he went and got obviously that.
He's drinking to, maybe get rid of some woes. It's just really difficult to know if it's all connected, or if it just happens to be, Sonny knows him and so does this guy. And, he's not, they're not all tied together, but it kind of feels like they'd be tied together.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've been talking about how they integrate these cultural things, and it's just been so much fun to learn about them, because then I'm always Googling everything, So I love that Joe used these stirring sticks to kind of open up that conversation with her. Like, hey, I'm here. Don't want to blindside you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, I brought these because he knows they're important to her. Yeah. And so I did a little search on those just to, see where they were. And they're made from greasewood plant, the stems of the greasewood plant. And they are used to mix like corn batter and other foods and things like that. And they are sometimes called, I think they were called like mush sticks or something like that is another name that they call them, because
Okay.
like the corn mush kind of stuff or
Yes.
whatever,
Uh-huh.
corn mush. And when they made the food, they used it to make foods and things, but specifically for like life events, like girls, like they have, I don't know if it's a, I feel like it said like a puberty celebration kind of thing. I don't know exactly. I didn't have time to look through all that, but like things like that or other celebrations and things. So that's like they're
Yeah.
special for that. And they would utilize them, but they would also hang them in the kitchen or above the door. And it was supposed to signify that whatever household had these, that they would never go without food. So it's just a whole, kind of very
Yeah.
interesting. There's actually, if you Google it, there's a really interesting video. Or like I think the video, I don't know if it was English subtitled or not, but a lady describes it and it's kind of transcribed there so you can kind of learn about it. But yeah, so I just thought that was neat that he knew how important those were, and that he's like, this is how I can get the
I know.
conversation started, because he knew, he's like, I got to do something, I'm not going all this way and not seeing her, so I really like that he did that. Plus we learned some more culture.
We did. I love that. I'm like glad that he brought him, and yes, that was a step to get closer, but then at the same time I'm like, is that the last thing you have? You know what I mean? Like he needs to like give her one.
Yeah.
One at a
I think
time.
you're set. I think it's the rule. You have to, yeah. I know, because I'm thinking, he doesn't even have their picture because Irene stole it.
I know.
And it's not like, and it's funny because at one point I thought that, and then I thought, he probably has that. And I'm like, no, this is 1970. He didn't have a cell phone laying around taking pictures of her, This was probably the only photo.
True. Oh my gosh.
So then that made me sad.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Wow. I love that. And I have some more things that are worth mentioning in this episode. So one is there was a marquee nod to the late producer of this show, which is Jeremiah Johnson starring Robert Redford. So I thought that was really cool that they put that in here. Mm-hmm. Also, we talked about the music and how much we appreciated that. And at the beginning, it was The Doors. It was End of the Night. And it was funny. I'm so good. I'm so good. Look, I'm giving myself a pat on the back. The song comes on and I'm like, that sounds like The Doors. And mind you, I know the Doors, but I don't have any Doors vinyls or anything. So I only know them or the movies that I've seen. But then, of course, I have to look it up because I hear the words End of Night. And I'm like, yes, it's the Doors, right? So then after that, when we see, when they open up to LA and we hear, and we see, I think it's when we see the Hollywood sign, it's Led Zeppelin. I'm a big fan of Led Zeppelin, okay? But I love Led Zeppelin. I love a lot of the songs, but I don't always know all the names of every single song. So I asked my husband, who is supposed to be a Led Zeppelin fan, I'm like, what song is this? And he can't remember. I'm like, ugh. So I'm like, I think it's Black Dog. And so what do? I get on my phone, I look it up. It's Black Dog. I'm like, yes, 2 for 2. I'm loving this. So I was feeling very proud of myself last night as I sat there and I was able to say the names of these songs, because a lot of times I know songs or I know actors or faces. And then but sometimes I just can't name things as much as I've seen them or whatever. But I also wanted to say that the Rolling Stones song was in here all down the line. And there was also in the Navajo Bar, there was Red Dirt Boogie Brother by Jesse Ed Davis. But I'm going to go listen to I can't even say it, Red Dirt Boogie Brother, because I want to hear it again. I want to hear it on its own. So I think that would be really cool. The other thing was that when Emma asked Joe to meet her at a place called The Source, this is was an actual major vegetarian restaurant on the Sunset that led to a cult. And there's even a documentary about it called The Source Family. So then I started digging in deeper, and like Marlon Brando used to go to this restaurant. And so do you know about this restaurant?
I didn't until I saw it and I looked it up. Yeah.
And I think Warren Beatty, maybe. I can't remember. And there was a few other people that used to go there. And like there's this documentary and there's all this stuff about it and there's articles. And I'm like, wow, I love that of course, when you're in LA, you have to use something that's something, right? It has to have some meaning behind it. Of course it does. So I just thought that was so fascinating.
Yeah, and I guess it's in Annie Hall, that is the where the restaurant that they're at, and he asks for like, what is he at? The alfalfa, I think he asks for the alfalfa sprouts and mash or something like
Uh-huh.
that. And it's like it's not like at the restaurant, but it's supposed to be like influenced by that restaurant is what I read
Ah,
online. So I
yeah,
thought that was
yeah,
interesting too, that
yeah,
there's another, little
yeah,
little pop culture kind of reference there, or
yeah,
that had referenced it. So yeah, but yeah, that was really interesting. And
yeah.
the leader, I can't remember what his name was called now. I read that. So he started in
Yes.
the late 60s, but he died in 1974 in a hang gliding accident. And so then the cult kind of just dispersed at that point then, because their leader was gone.
Yeah,
So it wasn't a long lived thing, but yeah,
yeah,
so it
yeah.
definitely, so, but yeah, but very interesting, because
And
that's
now it,
during, that's very rare to have a vegetarian, dedicated a
yes,
vegetarian restaurant
yeah.
in the 70s.
70s, yeah. Also, I think now it's some cantina, Cabo
Cabo, yeah,
Cantina,
something like
something
that.
like that.
Hmm.
I don't even know. It exists today,
Yeah.
so people can still go and check it out.
Hmm. One other thing I thought was just a little interesting. So Irene's father's well, they're German, right? And that we've learned, and he's wearing what looks like his Nazi
Yeah,
uniform still,
yeah.
and he's painting, which was a hobby that Hitler also enjoyed, and
Uh,
in his younger years, because he wanted
yeah,
to be an artist. So I
yeah,
thought that was kind of
yes,
probably a little like, oh look, he's doing this, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So not like a big deal, but it was just like something
Yeah,
I thought of. Yeah,
all those
I
details,
know.
those details.
Yeah.
Just like okay, this is the part worth mentioning, right? And we're going to probably talk about it a little bit more, but the attire that they were wearing, and Sonny was wearing this polyester outfit. Then I'm like, I think I remember somebody in my family way back when,
Yeah.
uncle or whatever, wearing that outfit. I mean, it looked
Hmm.
really familiar.
Yeah.
So I just thought that that was so interesting to see. They're just so good at the
Hmm.
costuming and the details and just everything that they put together. Yeah, just really well done. All right, we are going to get to our rapid fire questions. So I'm going to ask you 4 questions, Renee. You're going to give me your first reaction to them, and I'll do the same. And you out there, please play along with us and do the same. So the first question is, who is the best dressed in this episode?
I kept looking. I'm like, oh, look at that's cool. That's cool. I kept like, just thinking how cool everything was. But I'm gonna go with Byrne, because I just thought, her hair, her outfit, even that bag. I want that bag she was carrying. That was super cool. It had all these like, leather pieces on it and things and stuff. I don't know. I just thought her whole getup just screamed the 70s, and I loved it.
I love that too. So, okay, I kind of have a tie, but I'm going to tell you whose attire I did like. I did not like Joe's shirt. I'm like, what? What? Joe looks so good last episode, and then you go and put him in this shirt.
I know. I'm like, where'd you get that?
I'm like, no, it looks too short. The
Hmm.
color's not good. I'm like, what? You did him dirty in this
Yeah, I
episode.
agree.
But one is Byrne, because she was wearing a shirt that had like things on it. It just looked so pretty on her. And then
Hmm.
later on, she had the clips in her hair when she had gone to the bar. And I'm like, that's so cute with her hair down. I really like that a lot.
Hmm.
I didn't see her purse. So I'm gonna have to check it out, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
want one probably. But I have to say, I also really like Chee's outfit.
Hmm.
The shirt fit him really well. And I also really liked the pants that he was wearing, believe it or not. The way the pockets were, I know they were high, but he wore them well. He wore
Yeah.
high pants well.
Hmm.
And just the cut of them and the bell bottoms and all of that. I just thought they were dressed really good. So
Hmm.
I had to choose them both because they were both
Yeah, well,
so
I've always
good.
thought that about him, because I feel like he'd been away from the reservation, and then he comes back, the city guy,
Yeah,
the FBI guy,
yeah.
and he was always
True.
until they put him in the uniform. Prior
Yeah,
to that, he was very sharply dressed all the time,
yeah,
and like very 70s,
yeah,
with the jackets and the lapels and all that, everything. So
yeah.
yeah, he's always. I think his costume, his stuff has been very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, one thing I do want to bring up, when he had the flashback of when he was a kid, I don't know if you thought this, but I thought that the kid of him look just like him.
I 100% agree. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy could be him as a
Yeah.
kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. They picked him well.
Yeah. I'm like, that looks like Chee. That's so
Maybe he's
good.
related or something.
I
I don't know.
know
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. But
His
even like
hair.
he had that shirt on and a little necklace, and I thought that just seems like something he would have worn when he was little,
Yeah.
just because of how he dresses
Yeah.
now. So no, I agree absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Who is working the case the hardest or the smartest?
All right. The hardest, definitely not the smartest. Chi. I feel like he's very into it because he's trying to prove that I feel like he's doing this to prove to Joe and Byrne that he is the right man for the job, not her. And I feel like that's his motivation. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what I feel. And I feel, he is working very hard, but not obviously not smart. Who you don't do drugs and you don't do this when you're, I mean, you're already in a, your emotional state's a wreck right now. You do not need to add these substances to you. You're going to start talking about things you shouldn't be talking about. So I'll say I feel he's working the hardest for sure.
So, and I'll go with the smartest, and I think it's Joe, because two different points. One, when he leaves his hotel room, he puts that piece of paper in his lock because he wants to make sure no one breaks into his place. And so I'm like, ooh, he's being so smart. I love that they show that. And then at the end, because he's getting to a high vantage point and he's watching Byrne and see if Billy comes out and Chi, and making sure they're all safe. So he's being, protective and good and doing what he needs to. But then he's also being observant. He's like, what is happening over there? And then he heads over there. Okay. Maybe it's not the best thing to go in by yourself, but I don't care.
Well, he thought it was one person. Yeah, he thought it was one person. He didn't see the other person. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think he knew what he was going to find there. But I also think that he fought good. Like that guy came and he got him over and he, threw him over, but then another guy came and it's like, damn it.
It's hard
it's hard to fight against two people, but I would say, that would be my pick. All right. What moment surprised you the most in this episode?
I think Joe being attacked by those guys, I was like, didn't, I expect him to go up there and maybe they ran off and the stuff was still sitting, like just that was all he was going to find. I was surprised that not only the one person, but two people attacked him, so that did surprise me.
Ooh, who surprised me the most? Well, it's got to be Irene, because she's always surprising me with
true.
God knows what. I'm like, what's she doing next? I don't know what she's going to do. She's killing this person. Now she's got a dad. He's got dementia and he's wearing a Nazi uniform.
You're living
I'm
in
like,
a bunker. What's happening?
And then she's all smiling at Joe's picture. I'm like, that woman. She's surprising me one turn after another. So I have to say it's her.
Yeah.
Okay. And saying that, what do you think Irene's next move is?
Well, she's got to get out her mop and clean things up. So I'm thinking Billy is high on that list of the cleanup process. If she wants to get paid, she's going to have to get Billy, I think. And whether she'll kill her or just find out what she knows, or but I feel like that's her next thing will be to pursue Billy diligently, like she has been looking for her, but now I think after this meeting, she's got to, find her.
Ooh, I think that is her next move. But then I kind of think something's going to happen, right? Because she's going to get a little jealous of what's happening with Joe. And I don't know. She didn't spot him yet, with Emma. So unless she's going to go.
That we know of.
Yeah. Or else she's going to go check out where Emma's living. I don't know that, because we have 4 more. So we still have a little ways to go. So there are going to be some hiccups along the way. What's next episode going to be about? You know, is it going to be Joe figuring out who the heck these people are and what's happening there? So I thought we got a lot of Irene this episode, which was nice. So, all right. So we are circling back to our question of the day, which is loaded. So you guys know Renee and we love music. So going to be hard to narrow this down, but the question of the day is, if you could add one more 70s song into Dark Winds, what would it be?
As everyone, if people have watched other of our episodes, the music, like you mentioned that we love it. So I was like, okay, what 70? And my brain was reeling. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's too many songs. But I settled on, I thought we need some Queen in there. So I was thinking something kind of rockin' and aggressive and that. So I Sheer Heart Attack or Stone Cold Crazy by Queen, I thought would be very good. Or a completely random one was a Search and Destroy by the Stooges, because that's a really good rockin' one. And I think that would be really cool. So that I couldn't narrow, that's as much as I could narrow it down.
That's good. You're good. And those are good ones. I like it. I'm such a Queen fan too. So
Yeah.
it's like so perfect. I mean, okay. I do want to say I would have never thought that Led Zeppelin would be in here because Led Zeppelin holds on to their music. Like
Yeah.
they don't let people play their music. So,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that they should, because
Mm-hmm.
we had talked, or I had talked about this with Sam on Stranger Things, because they wanted to use Led Zeppelin and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they okayed it, and they ended up using Prince, which was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. But I'm like, okay, Led Zeppelin, you are amazing, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to let people at this point play your music so that
Yeah.
it can live on and
Mm-hmm.
other people can learn about it and listen to it because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's their music. They get to do whatever they want
Yeah.
with it. But I would love to hear more of it. So I was really surprised to hear it here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it could have been a million reasons why. Maybe it's the show, what the
Mm-hmm.
show represents. Maybe they thought, well, this is something really good that, we want to get behind and have her
Mm-hmm.
music in. I don't know. I'm going to go check that out
Yeah.
next. But in saying that, I have too many. One could be Fleetwood Mac, The Chain,
Yeah.
right? Because it reflects betrayal and tension and emotional stakes, and it can tie to Chee and Bern. If we, one of my, I just love hearing his music is Tom Petty. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, Don't Come Around Here No More it feels very quirky and moody and LA
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Yeah.
And but one that could fit, see, I've got a bunch. So one that could fit Joe and Emma is Bread, and that is I Want to Make It With You.
Yeah.
Um, uh, there, there's just so many. There's so many. So it depends on who, and
Yeah.
then I'll pick your song after you tell me who you're going to choose,
Yeah.
and then I'll pick it. Do you know what song I really love? I mean, I really love. It's one of my all-time favorite songs, but it's in the '60s, not the '70s, and it's California Dreamin'.
Yeah.
So I love that by the Mama and the Papas.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably said it a million times, and that's a song I would have picked, except for it's from the '60s, so it doesn't answer the question. So, but
Good,
there it is. So, friends out there, what about you? If you could add one more '70s song to Dark Winds, what would it be? Please share it with us. You can share it with us if you're watching on YouTube in the comments. You can go to any of our social media, and you can get there by going to screensofocus.com. All of our social media links are there. Or better, you can call us at 669 223 8542 because we want to hear from you. That is a wrap up of Dark Winds episode 4. Come back for episode 5. It has been so good, and I'm just can't wait for the rest of it. But we are going to move into our TV and movie recommendations. Renee, what are you watching?
So I started watching Young Sherlock because I was like, oh, let's just see what this is about. And I just watched the first episode and it was good. It wasn't like great or whatever, but it was interesting how the story started and progressed and everything. So yeah, I'll continue to watch it. So yeah, that one, nice. I think it's just another imagining of his story or something like that. And then The Grey House is another series, kind of a not really Western, but it's Civil War-ish, but it's executive produced by Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman. So I thought that was interesting. So then I was like, well, I got to see this. And so it focuses on like this, the unsung women who actually were like they ran a spy ring during Civil War, which helped the North, come out on top or whatever. So I don't know. I guess I didn't see if it was a true story or based on a true story, but it sounds very intriguing to me. So I started watching that again, first episode, and I definitely want to go back and learn more about that. So that was really a good one. And then this one I've been waiting for. It's called Frackham Hall, and it's kind of a satirical British comedy, and it's set in the 1930s, and in England, this wealthy family and all their excess and ridiculousness. But there's all these just hilarious, like some of the things that you don't even notice them. They're like happening like just goofball things that, like, one, it doesn't give any kind of thing away. I'm watching, I'm like, wait, how did that glass, there was a glass on her shoulder, like there was like a cocktail glass sitting on her shoulder, and she walks off with it, and I was like, when did, like, I must have looked away for a split second to see how it got there. Well, here the man behind her must have thought her little lapel things were flat, and he sat his drink, and then when he turned around, it was gone, and he was like, I mean, just goofball things like that. Some of them are pretty dumb, but you still kind of chuckle because they're so goofy, you know.
Yes.
But it's, yeah, I mean, I like, in my notes I put a bit corny, but I'll definitely finish it. But, you know, it's just kind of making fun of that whole Downton Abbey, and that, you know, what these people with all this money ask for and expect of their servants, and have that nobody else has because they have the money, you know. So it's just kind of funny. Yeah. So it's a movie. And I didn't get to watch it all yet, but I probably watched the first quarter of it, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely finishing this because it was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There are so many things out right now that I cannot keep up. Like, I am trying so hard, and with the Oscars and watching everything to catch up on that, and then having you know, Dark Winds and just all the regular shows, The Pit and everything that we watch. I'm like, oh shoot. And then here comes a slew of other new TV shows and movies that I would love to watch. And I'm behind on Paradise. I'm behind on The Night Agent. I'm watching those, but I haven't watched them.
Yeah.
I mean, those are legit ones that I would need to get to, and I haven't been able to because I've been so busy. And then now I started watching Traitors on Peacock, which, that's a long story in itself, but I'm a fan. I watched the first season. I'm a fan, and I have a month trial. So I'm going to try and watch this current season. I'm watching all the reality shows. So in saying all that, sorry, 2 new shows that just came out. One is Rooster on HBO Max with Steve Carell, and the other one is DTF St. Louis on HBO Max. So I watched the first episode of both of these last night, and I have to say, I'm a big fan of Steve Carell, but the show itself, he's funny. He can just do nothing or whatever, and his delivery is so funny. But I don't know yet. I don't know yet. So that one is just pending. But DTF, I was thinking was going to be the same, and I put it in, and this is with Jason Bateman and Dave Harbour. So I'm like, okay. So I put it in, and I'm preparing for today, and all of a sudden I found myself like, what is happening? And it's actually the supporting cast that has me intrigued. There is a murder, which I had no idea there was going to be a murder. And they're investigating the murder, and they're talking about one of the detectives. There's 2 different detectives that come on the scene, and one of them says, oh, this is porn. And the other one says, that's not porn. And then they're having a discussion about it. Like, they're coming at it from 2 different angles. It's got me gripped. Like, now I'm like, I want to know what's going to happen. I'm so intrigued. So I have to say that one did get me. So I'm really, I can't wait to see the next episode for that one. And then for movies on Netflix, I watched The War Machine. I think his name is Alan Richman. The guy on Reacher is in this, and it was so good. And you know what? You'd probably like it. It's a sci-fi and action. And so it's nothing like groundbreaking, but it's a solid action movie about alien. So I really enjoyed it. My husband enjoyed it, and we just had a good time. So anyway, those are our recommendations. If you want more recommendations, check out Screens of Focus, TikTok, or YouTube, and we give short reviews on everything. But I want to thank Renee for being here today. Thank you, Renee, for always being here to talk about anything, but today to talk about Dark Winds and music.
Yes, of course. I'm there. You know, those are 2 good topics for me. So yes, thank you for always asking. I love it. I just enjoy it so much.
I'm so glad we have 4 more. Yay.
I know.
All right. Friends out there, thank you for joining us. We're so thrilled that you joined us today, and we hope we gave you some insight, something to think about, maybe a chuckle, some inspiration. Please share this podcast with a friend. We would love that. You can always get to us at screensofocus.com. Please subscribe and keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next